been a pretty crazy week for Formula One, considering it's not a race weekend. From rumors for retirement to some apologies, something about the FIA also speaking, knowing about faster timed laps with specifically Jessica Hawkins, a lot to talk about, also Horner and Ricciardo updates. I want to get into them all and speak about them before getting into the real race weekend that should be very exciting. I also have a track preview predictions types video coming out tomorrow, so be excited for that. Let's get into it. Obviously, the biggest one I wanted to get into was Sergio Perez to announce early retirement at Mexican Grand Prix. So, by the way, this rumor stems from somebody on Reddit talking to an ex-employee of a sponsor on the Red Bull car. That is where it came. It says, whispers of Sergio Perez's impending retirement swirl following a candid revelation from a figure connected to Escuderia Telmex, which Perez is a member of, during a casual gathering. As usual, it's only a rumor, so takes this with a pinch of salt. That's how it starts. So a lot of people were automatically hopping on this, Sergio Perez retiring, this and this, this and this. I saw this and I was like, why is this even a thing? And of course, not even 3 hours later, dismissed as absolutely false by Sergio Perez himself. His team was the one that was mainly talking about it, but he says that this was not even true. They were talking about it being communicated during the week of the Japanese Grand Prix, that Checo's team managers and main sponsor, Telmex, as I was saying, immediately started looking around and talking to people, but two main problems arose here. No seats available these past 4 to 5 months have been extremely damaging to Sergio's well-earned reputation. Other teams have mentioned them, how he is now on the older side. If you were to put Sergio into Lance Stroll's seat, perfect replacement, honestly. Sergio is still a great driver. A great driver. This, to me, gives me shades of McLaren days for Daniel Ricciardo. And when you look at Ricciardo's career as a whole, you don't just look at McLaren for a reasonable reason to say, oh, is this driver good or bad? Ricciardo is a great driver. In Red Bull, he was phenomenal. In Renault, he was phenomenal. I would argue in 2020, with the exception of probably Lewis, who was extremely dominant, Ricciardo and Perez were the best drivers in 2020. Him in the Racing Point, Ricciardo in the Renault. So are you just going to ignore how good of drivers they were in that time? Going to now, obviously it's been bad for Perez, but he's not going to retire. Maybe something does happen to where he gets switched out in 2024, but I don't think he's planning on retiring. It's not been something that's been spoken about, but yet again, Vettel hit us with oh, you thought, and retired. So we'll have to see. I knew these were rumors, and I'd never trusted them, really, to be honest, in the beginning. Next thing I wanted to mention was the whole entire Stroll situation to where he pushed his trainer. So the FIA got involved. They started talking to him, and they were like, hey, listen, man, you can't be doing this. I don't know why they got involved. It's an internal team problem, in my personal opinion. Aston Martin had it settled from the looks of it, but they got involved. They made Stroll have a kind of formal warning for his actions, and the Canadian had to come out and apologize. So that's really the action of it. I didn't think there was going to be much more. Don't really see the reason as to why the FIA needed to make it a little bit bigger than it needed to be. Obviously, it wasn't great, and I think it's something behind the scenes that we just don't see very often. I think it happens more often than not, though, that drivers are kind of outraged at their trainers or people around them say some things they don't want to. I mean, how would your adrenaline or kick be driving a car 250 kilometers on a high-speed corner and then getting out of it and obviously being frustrated? You gotta put some compensation in mind for these drivers, because obviously they're speeding like crazy and at any moment they could crash and potentially die. So yes, the adrenaline's super high. Yes, do they make mistakes? We're all human. I mean, you see it in soccer, you see it in the NBA, you see it everywhere. Stroll does take it to the extreme, but the whole FIA thing didn't need to really happen, in my personal opinion. For Alonso, F1 should consider race delays in extreme hot weather. So I made the video talking about the Qatar GP should have never happened. I still stand by that. A lot of people were given like, oh, but like Alonso was good and drivers in the past were all okay and so on and so on. I mean, if Alonso is saying it, who in my opinion probably came out of the best, he also had a seat that was burning in the back, says that it should be delays in extreme hot weather. I agree. Why? I love looking at our drivers as heroes. They are. They're heroes. They're inspirational. The sport is a sport that takes a lot of durability, but also preciseness, and you just gotta be a bang-on driver to stay in it. So if somebody like this, with this type of age and experience, is saying this, then obviously we should take this to heart and be like, you know what? He's right. We should be very careful next time. Let's not have our drivers passing out and then crashing into the wall. I mean, if anybody remembers the crazy crash that happened to Massa from getting knocked out, I mean, I was obviously from a spring. How crazy was that? And dude never ended up becoming the same. So why would we ever want our drivers to be in that type of situation? I agree with Alonso, and a lot of comments that were made by older drivers and drivers that actually survived it pretty well, Qatar GP, are coming out and saying things like this. So just wanted to bring this up. Also want to talk about, obviously, Ricciardo, who's coming back for the America GP. Horner says injured Ricciardo was right to miss F1 Qatar GP. Well, I believe this to be right. This would have been an awful Grand Prix for Daniel, and now he's coming back to a Grand Prix that he loves. He loves being there. He loves getting put on the Southern accent, being who he is, Daniel Ricciardo. I'm excited to see him back. We're also going to get an announcement for the AlphaTauri team, what they will be named. That's something I'm very excited to see, and I really want to hear other people's opinions on what they think the team's going to be named. Will it be Hugo Boss Racing? They're saying it's something closer to the Red Bull name. By that, I think maybe they'll go with like Hugo Boss Racing Bulls, maybe something like that. They're definitely not going to go Adidas Bulls Racing Team. I don't know. I don't think Adidas is going to be the main sponsor. I think it's going to be Hugo Boss. Maybe somebody comes out of the blue. Maybe we get some crazy sponsor like Gatorade or something. I don't know. Just bringing something up. We'll have to see. Excited to see what they announce for the new team, and obviously him and Yuki leading the way. Might be Liam Lawson and Yuki if Sergio doesn't improve them performances. Also, new deal. I was excited about this one. Belgium is back again until 2025, as it should be. Great track. Great for just Formula One in general. This is where you see cars go to the fastest of the limit. I know it's not that safe, but it is a historic track. Maybe they look into expanding some of like the trees and pushing it back for more visibility. But all in all, watching this track though, man, I gotta go there. I would love to visit Belgium one day and see this track. Seeing them go up Le Rouge and Radion would just be a dream, honestly. Such a beautiful track. Okay, another thing that I really wanted to bring up. Jessica Hawkins' secret lap times and Martin Brundle under fire. So we're not really gonna talk about Martin Brundle. Martin Brundle is mainly because of his comments that he made on the Qatar GP about them being heroes and the whole entire exhaustion and so on. But I wanna talk more about Jessica Hawkins for this article. So, Jessica Hawkins, rapid compared to Felipe Drugovich. By the way, I rate Felipe very high. I love him. I wish he would be in the sport. It'd be awesome to have somebody, a Brazilian in the sport. And plus, I like him as a driver. I think he's slick. He's a good looking guy, so you know he's got that Formula One-esque to him already. But in general, he's just cool. Felipe's cool. I like him. And I would love for him to be in the sport. But Nico Rosberg got some times from Jessica Hawkins, and this is kind of what he says. I can tell the little secret that you were rapid compared to the official test driver, said the 2016 world champion and Sky F1 pundit. There's more to this that I want to get into. He says her times have been kept guarded, but not from Rosberg, who revealed that the secret that they stacked up very well against Aston Martin's current reserve reigning Formula 2 champion Felipe Drugovich. And then that's where the I can tell you the little secret thing comes out. But what do you guys think? Do you think Jessica was actually close to Felipe? If so, that's awesome. That's awesome to see that if she's even within a second, that's actually very insane because she's been out of a seat for a long time. She's now looking for sponsors to get herself back up and see she wants another opportunity at this. If that's the case, she absolutely deserves that, and props to her. I mean, that's awesome if she really is as rapid as Nico is saying. I don't really take Nico as somebody that would just make something up. That's actually really cool. I'd love to see Jessica Hawkins actually do a couple more tests, see some more times, maybe get something more accurate. But why not let it out to the world? Why not let us see the times? Everybody would be so impressed to see Jessica Hawkins even close to Felipe. It'd be like, wow, she's awesome. Like, I don't know. I think it'd be inspirational for other people to actually see if she really is close, as Nico was talking about. I think it's great for our sport. So that's everything that I wanted to cover today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. It's kind of like a biggest headlines video that I usually do during the F1 weekend, but yeah, just to sum it up, a lot of stuff has came out and I wanted to speak upon it in my own opinion. Let me know your opinion down in the comments down below. You guys know I love to respond and talk to you guys, and thank you so much for the support on the channel. You guys are the best. Love you all. Thank you so much. You guys mean the world.